What were the benefits of him being in the Army and never around and his drinking and all of that? What did it give you?
I guess it made me feel like I was the stable one.
What else?
That I was the responsible one, that I was the one that kept it together. I was the good person.
And do you remember
I don't know where you're going with
no,
this.
I'm just, the reason I asked is because you walked yourself into the answer that you brought up in the beginning, and everyone does it. You said in the beginning, safety, reliability, follow through. That's why you picked him. You weren't picking him, you were picking yourself. What you picked is somebody that was completely unreliable, unsafe, and had no follow through because you wanted to be that. That was his gift to you. You're trying to teach yourself how to be that for yourself. And so we pick somebody who has none of that because you're using, this is the manipulative part, we're using them to teach us about ourselves and what we need to do. They become a proxy. So what happens is thank God he's unreliable. Because now what do I get? I get safety. I never have to be vulnerable to somebody who's an alcoholic and never there, right?
I get it.
What do you get?
I provide all of those things for myself.
Amen. Now
I was looking for it in a person.
Amen. Now you tell me where he failed you.
He behaved exactly how he was supposed to.
And just the way you wanted, because you wanted to teach yourself how to be all these things, and you did it without him. Wow. He's a gift. That's when you confront denial, it's like right there. What do you want to talk about, Michelle? What's going on?
Hi, Kenny. Well, as you know, I've been, through the gamut on my journey to self-development for many years, more so since my divorce or my separation over 3 years ago.
You're not divorced then?
I'm divorced now.
Okay.
But we separated and that was a long divorce. But, so I've read books. I've been through all different types of seminars. I've been through classes. I've YouTubed and just so many different things. And that's actually how I found you, was YouTube and then reading your book and everything. And the biggest hang up, I think, it isn't probably the cause, but it's the thing that I'm hung up on right now is forgiving my ex for being such a, piece of work. And I just wish I could just let it go. It's just this big boulder that I keep chipping away at, and I can't. And I'm willing to accept that I can. I just haven't figured out how to do it.
Okay. Give me some more details. How long were you guys married?
9 years.
Okay. And why do you think the relationship ended? Why did the marriage dissolve?
He was an alcoholic narcissist, and...
Did he think he was an alcoholic?
No way.
Okay.
And I was a codependent, and it was a perfect... relationship in that way, but it worked really well for him, and not so much for me. That's why I think it didn't work.
So what was missing in the relationship for you?
Safety, reliability,
Okay.
Follow through.
Okay. Why do you think you guys got together? What was the attraction?
Well, I was living in San Diego at the time, and it seemed like all the single guys I was meeting were like, they just wanted to just be single and party and have fun, and there were it just seemed like everybody was in some kind of drugs or something. And I was like, I don't want any of that. It was everywhere I went. And so my girlfriend recommended that I go on this website, and it was military. That's how a lot of, including her, met her husband, try this website. And I was like, well, I'm not really into military men, but what the heck, I'll try it. Because I know that they can't do drugs in the military, right?
That's one way around the drug issue.
So I thought, so I'll try that. So I met him a couple months before he deployed to Iraq, but we never met in person. We met online, and we ended up talking for the whole 10 months that he was in Iraq, and we built this entire relationship. And
was it just through typing, no talking?
There was Skype, and there were some phone calls.
So there were some.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he called himself, he said, I'm the man. Like, he's honest, he's loyal, he's secure. He was a divorced father. And I was really attracted to that because I didn't think I could have kids. He just seemed like someone who just seemed to have it together, stable, like family man. I was really looking for that. And I was 32 years old and I wanted to have kids. I wanted a family.
Yeah. And he wanted more kids?
He did, but he was okay that...
He was okay that...
I might not.
And so you were okay being a stepmom?
Oh, totally. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
When do you think the marriage started to end for you?
When I was pregnant with my second child, he had another deployment while we were together. And when he got back, I got pregnant immediately. I was the whole typical, military wife thing. I was working full time, going to school full time. I had a 11-month-old child, and I was pregnant. And he was just partying and coming home late and always saying that he had work meetings and just blowing money. And I'm just like home holding it down, and like even asking him to do the simplest thing like dump the trash or unload the dishwasher was like I was giving him attitude. And I just felt like I'm doing everything by myself and I'm married.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see the pain in that. It still hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
I guess, and it takes me back to, I've already done some personal work and realized that I connect this to my mother, who was into drugs. There was drugs in the home. There was addiction and, a lot of neglect. And I realized that he was her in another part of my life. Yeah. And, I just kind of felt like I was just kind of on my own, even as a child.
Growing up. Tell me more about childhood. And was it just your mom who was addicted and abandoning, or was it your father as well?
No, I didn't really grow up with my father at all.
Oh, so you didn't have a father?
No, I had a few stepfathers and male figures that I wouldn't really declare as any kind of significance in my life other than the fact that they were my abusers, part of my abuse.
Was there sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse?
Some, yeah, all of the above.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's devastating.
I've worked really hard to feel better about that.
That's heartbreaking.
I mean, I've forgiven my mom, so why can't I forgive my ex-husband?
Why do you think you can't?
Because I gave my all. And I loved him so much. And to me, there was just such a strong connection. And he didn't, probably the same with my mom, he didn't choose me. I was there, I gave my all, but I wasn't chosen. He didn't choose to be home with me and to be the family man that I thought we were going to be. Like my mom, she didn't choose me, Do
you hear the correlation you just made?
They didn't choose me.
Yeah. It's like I, talk about, and we've talked about in group, because of the worst day cycle, we will choose to relive our trauma over and over and over against ourselves because it gets to the denial piece of forgiveness. This is one of the things I've learned, that most people focus on forgiveness as forgiving the other person. There's usually pray for them, right? And all that stuff. And all that's good. It's been my experience that the person when we can't forgive somebody, the person we can't forgive is always us.
I have thought about that.
Yeah.
And, when we were in group, I'm on the treadmill saying, I can forgive him. I can forgive him. He's not even thinking about me.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here trying to work over this because I need to move forward. And I don't, and you've mentioned this, how do I forgive him when it was his actions? And I understand I chose to be in that relationship. There's some kind of disconnect. I'm not getting it.
And this is why this work can be difficult. Remember the worst day cycle and remember what denial is ultimately about. Well, it's the two most difficult parts of the cycle are the shame and denial piece. Remember, with shame, because of the power vacuum as a child, you had no power. Your mom was going to reject you regardless of what you did because of her addictions, her own choices, everything, right? So we feel incredibly powerless. The way we choose to get our power back as adults is that we then choose our work, our friends, our hobbies, and our relationships to victimize ourselves. We choose so-called the wrong people because at least I chose it. Now this is where the disconnect is for you, and this is with everybody. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. This is the toughest part of the work. Because of that power vacuum, we are doing anything we can not to feel that powerlessness of childhood and not to feel like, oh my God, I'm powerless again. And that kicks us into denial because there are three things going on. One, I have to admit that I'm the problem. Well, if I'm the problem, that means I wasted basically 10 or more years pursuing the wrong person. I don't want to admit that. You mean I threw my life away and had kids with this person and I stayed home and was the good wife and gave up everything? Like you said, I did everything. Well, who wants to admit that I did everything and it wasn't enough? That's hard. Like, it's much easier to go, no, I did everything, you owe me, but I chose it. Ultimately, I'm responsible for that choice. We don't want to go there. And this is really where it gets to for you, Michelle, is the second piece. He's just like your mother, from what your words were. Well, if I let go of him, if I forgive him, who do I really have to forgive? My mom.
I feel like I've done that, though.
And that's where the hang-up is. Can you think in childhood? When did you discover your mom was an alcoholic? And tell me more how she performed her abandoning behaviors.
I mean, when I was little, she was 17 when she got pregnant with me, and she had me when I was 18. And it even goes further back from that because her father was an alcoholic. So like it's 3 generations, right? Yeah. I think I must have been in high school because...
What's your first memory of finding out she's drunk?
Just the first thing that comes to mind, I was probably in junior high school. She came home and was throwing up in the flower beds, and I was helping her. Her husband left her and went into the house and went to bed, and left her throwing up in the garden.
My God. Do you remember what you were trying to do?
I was just trying to take care of her. Yeah. I mean, I always felt like the mom in the house. You know, I was the one who kept it together.
Yeah. And how did you keep it together?
I mean, I was responsible for keeping the house clean. I was responsible for, when I took care of my brother and sister. When my mom was sick, I took care of her, and she was laid up in bed or hungover, or when she was doing drugs in the other room, I made sure my brother and sister were safe. And I mean, with the sexual abuse, I made sure that they weren't, nothing happened to them. If we were out of food, I told my grandma, hey, we're out of cereal. My grandma would bring us some cereal, Okay.
So I just heard a lot of choices. Making cereal, cooking, cleaning, protecting brothers and sisters, protecting mom. Even as a child, and we all do this, we give ourselves away. We make choices. As you said, I was the mom. And this gets to the third piece of what stumbles us is, even as a child, we pick the abuser role. And so the lack of forgiveness for other people is a lack of forgiveness for ourselves, because here I am, a child. I'm doing everything. It's not my job. Do you recognize that it's not your job as a child to do all that?
Yes, but it was the right thing to do.
And that becomes the defense mechanism. It's the right thing to do. I'm not saying what you did wasn't kind and loving. That's not what I'm saying. But this is what happens to kids. It becomes, that's the defense mechanism. That becomes the suppression and repression of no, and that's the false persona. Michelle, what the right thing to do is for your mother to do those things for you. It's not your job. The right thing for you to do as a middle-aged or middle school child is to go play with your friends. That would be the right thing to do. And that's where the lack of forgiveness is wait a minute, if I were to accept that that wasn't my responsibility and to give myself permission to go be a child, do you see what you give up? I give up, I'm the adult. I give up the persona of I'm the mother in this house. I give up the persona of I'm the protector of everyone and I give everything. And what that also means is I have to give up that I became all these things to try and get my mom to love me. Well, I don't want to let that go. I already felt abandoned. If I give all that up, I have nothing. So I have to justify that it's the right thing to do and I'm this righteous person. I'm not saying you're not. But that's the denial mechanism forcing us to stay here and not look at it and go, you know what? It wasn't the right thing to do. Had I been an adult, like I would never expect a child to do this. This is completely unreasonable. But now as an adult looking back, I'm trying to give you permission to look back and go, oh my God, what I was asked to do was not the right thing. It was the exact wrong thing. See, you've never mourned that. You still think to be a good child, you have to do everything. The answer is in the opposite.
Maybe there's resistance in this, but I feel like there are some valuable things in those behaviors that made me who I am today.
Yes. In all of our trauma, we get gifts. The difficulty is separating out what gifts work for us and what work against us.
Right.
What did you say worked against you in your marriage? You started this off, I struggle with what? You're very, what type of person in a relationship?
Codependent.
Yes. And how were you as a child?
I was for sure codependent.
And so some of the righteous behaviors that you believe are good traits are codependence. And this is where it gets blurred of look, I struggled with this too. I'm a nice guy. Remember the chapter in my book of the day I discovered my darkness and I realized my being nice and being caring and being loving, oh God, no. It's all a manipulation. It's a massive manipulation because then I can control you and I can play the victim and I never have to take responsibility for how abusive I am and how nice I am. I'm stealing from people. It's not kind and loving, but I had no choice as a child. Look at your childhood, like you had no other choice, Michelle. Who else was going to raise you? And your sisters and brother,
I mean, in my mom's defense, it wasn't always like that. But yes, I mean, I definitely don't feel like I had a childhood.
No.
I do realize that.
Yeah. And so what we want to hold on to is that sense of righteousness. No, I'm a good person. I'm right. You are a good person. But the behaviors you learned, they're called maladaptive coping skills. Okay, mal, meaning they
Right.
work against us. And so what we get trained, it becomes, as I talk about in the book, it becomes this chemical addiction in our body, neural pathways and I call it, this is the difference between what I call the trauma gut feeling and our true gut feeling. Our trauma gut says, oh no, this is the right thing, which keeps us repeating because we know this. Well, that's because it's been a repetitive feeling in us. This is my gut feeling. Wait a minute, these are good behaviors. Yes, they are. But when we choose people or stay with people that are abusive towards us, we're the manipulator. Because we picked it and we're allowing the poor behavior. Look at all the benefits. Do you see the benefits you get from picking somebody who's unavailable? What were the benefits of him being in the army and never around and his drinking and all of that? What did it give you?
I guess it made me feel like I was the stable one.
What else?
That I was the responsible one, that I was the one that kept it together. I was the good person.
And do you remember
I don't know where you're going with
no,
this.
I'm just, the reason I asked is because you walked yourself into the answer that you brought up in the beginning, and everyone does it. You said in the beginning, safety, reliability, follow through. That's why you picked him. You weren't picking him, you were picking yourself. What you picked is somebody that was completely unreliable, unsafe, and had no follow through because you wanted to be that. That was his gift to you. You're trying to teach yourself how to be that for yourself. And so we pick somebody who has none of that because you're using, this is the manipulative part, we're using them to teach us about ourselves and what we need to do. They become a proxy. So what happens is thank God he's unreliable. Because now what do I get? I get safety. I never have to be vulnerable with somebody who's an alcoholic and never there, right?
I get it.
What do you get?
I provide all of those things for myself.
Amen. Now
I was looking for it in a person.
Amen. Now you tell me where he failed you.
He behaved exactly how he was supposed to.
And just the way you wanted, because you wanted to teach yourself how to be all these things, and you did it without him. Wow. He's a gift. That's when you confront denial, it's like right there. Now, I'm not condoning his behavior. I would never condone that behavior. But that's why we pick these abusive people. But no one's shown us how to see what's really happening. What are you discovering right now?
Gratitude.
Yes! Keep going. Just let it all out. Let it all out.
I'm pretty freaking amazing.
Yes, you are. What else are you?
Well, I was just thinking about this yesterday. I gave him hell.
Yeah.
I gave him hell for his behavior.
Yeah.
And he was just having a great time, and I pushed him further into what I didn't want him to be.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that yesterday. I feel like my heart is opening up, but there's still something like I understand that his behavior isn't like acceptable, but is it forgivable? I guess it's not.
When are you going to forgive yourself for not being able to get your mother sober and make her responsible? That's what it traces back to. And Michelle, a lot of times it doesn't always come, poof, it's over. Denial is a long, long process, and it comes in layers. The key to unraveling the layers is every time you feel that rage towards him or anyone else, Remember, whenever we judge, blame, criticize, or hate anyone or anything, we are always talking about ourselves, either directly or indirectly. We're doing those things. And that's the beauty is, like, I love judging people. Love it. Because it shows me how I'm in denial. I haven't forgiven myself for something, and I haven't done the recovery work. So that's why I wake up every day where I'm in denial. And so I'm looking, if I start to get a feeling of whatever, like I've told the story about stupid drivers, you know the one. Yeah.
I've been thinking about that every time someone's driving too slow. I'm like, well, you stupid, whatever. And then I go,
what are they?
And then I'm like, why did I just say that? And how is this me? Do I feel like I'm stupid? I go, no, I'm a better driver. Like,
okay, now wait a minute. What is it you say? Well, let's walk through it so I can show you how to find the answer. They're a stupid what?
They're not good drivers.
They're stupid drivers. Is that basically what you say, or is it something different?
Yeah. Stupid is the key word.
Yeah, stupid's always the key word. Okay. So look in your life presently or in the past where you've been stupid. What's the stupidest thing you've done in your life? What do you think what's the first thing that pops into your head?
Alcohol-related behavior.
Are you willing to share what the dumbest, stupidest thing you've done while drunk?
I mean, I lived in...
Is that bad?
I lived in LA, so
that's a lot of it. So sleeping around, throwing up, crazy parties, or
just crazy parties and just dancing crazy, and just the next day being like, oh, how many people did I make out with last night? And like retelling the night before and laughing about it, going, Do
you see the beauty of a stupid driver? They just gave you the opportunity to forgive yourself for being a little reckless when you were younger. You haven't forgiven yourself for it.
It's true.
Exactly. That's why you still have venom for him, is you still haven't forgiven yourself. That's why denial, the answer is always in the opposite, and go become an expert in your denial. Because just as you figured out, stupid driver, no, it's about me being stupid with booze 20 years ago in LA. Well, I need to forgive myself for that. Now that I can own, I'm no longer in denial, I can own this, my self-esteem rises. Because now I forgive myself. I see myself truthfully. And now I love myself. I'm accepting my behavior. And as I always say, you can only do what you know. As you know better, you can do better. The 40-year-old Michelle 20 years ago knows better than the 20-year-old Michelle.
Totally.
But the 20-year-old Michelle did everything she could, and so did the teen and preteen Michelle. She could only do what she knew with her mother. She did the best she could. As she knows better, she can do better. And that's the forgiveness process, is to please stop beating yourself up. You did literally, Michelle, how could you have done anything better as a child? You were perfectly imperfect. And so your resentment and anger at him is you holding on to, I'm just not ready to forgive myself back here. Just like a stupid driver. It allows me to not have to face this. Just like the stupid driver allows me not have to face my decisions as a 20-year-old in LA.
It's just covering up.
And that's why we do it. Because one, no one's taught us how, but two, remember how denial works. We don't want to admit who we really are. That it's a false persona. That's not who I really am. I don't want to admit I don't know who I am, and so we guard it. And we go, no, they're the problem, the stupid driver. It has nothing to do with my drinking back there. Oh, yes, it does. It has nothing to do with how I tried to protect my mom or what I did with my ex-husband. We don't want to admit that because our self-esteem is so low. Well, the only way to gain our self-esteem is to conquer that, to go, oh my God, that is true. That's why I wrote the whole chapter on, the day I saw my darkness. I love seeing how dark and broken I am. It's freedom. It's self-esteem. It's self-love. It's confidence. Like when I know how messed up I am and I can accept it and you call me anything, how could we ever argue? Because I'm like, yeah, you're right. I have nothing to defend. That's all an argument is two people protecting their denial and both fighting to see who can be the bigger victim. No, I'm the bigger victim. No, what you did to me. Well, I don't want to see my part. Your part was worse.
My mom used to always say that pointing your finger at other people, you have 2 fingers or 3 fingers pointing back to yourself. She used to always say that. I don't even think she fully understood that.
No, nobody does.
I don't think I fully understand it yet. I'm trying to flip this every time because it's really a flipping, you know, It's not all out, out, out. It's in. So if you have this feeling and you start projecting, then you're looking for how does that apply to me, basically.
So talk to me about some of your projections and what are some of your judgments? Well, besides stupid driving, we just figured out one has to go back to forgive yourself for being a 20-year-old.
So people who make the complaint, oh, I can't do this. I'm too fat. I don't have enough money. I'm this. I'm that. I can't. You know. I don't let my kids say can't, and I catch myself, and I don't say can't either. I'm working on that.
Pause right there. What did you come in here for? Because you couldn't what?
Forgive.
So do you see? The person you're not forgiving yourself for is that you haven't quite moved through the forgiveness process. You're the one who can't. It's not them. They're the 3D movie showing you, oh, come on, quit beating yourself up. I'm the one who can't forgive. I'm the one who can't. I'm really pissed off at myself that I can't forgive.
Well, so let me take this a little step further.
Okay.
When people say they can't, you know, it's like there's something they want to achieve, so they can't. Like, you know, like they want a better job, or they want, and like if I want something, I work hard, I make goals, and I make it happen. So I do that. I mean, if I need to lose weight, I lose weight. If I need to get a better job, I get a better job. If the circle of friends I'm hanging around with aren't treating me right, I move on, you know. Why is this one so like...
What is it in your life you can't do?
I don't think there is anything I can't do other than I'm having a hard time forgiving. I mean, definitely feeling lighter. And I know that this is something that's stopping me from so many different things.
Well, did you hear how you defended your denial? You can't forgive. But instead of saying, I can't, you said, I'm having a hard time working through. Do you see how you changed the words? Mm-hmm. So you didn't have to admit that you can't do something.
Gosh, even that's a form of denial.
Amen.
Oh.
Yeah, it's amazing how subtle we are and how we protect ourselves, all these little defenses. And what else couldn't you do in your life? There are 2 other main things you weren't able to do in your life. What was the one as a kid?
As a kid, I wasn't allowed to be a child, I guess.
And so what's another way of saying that? I
couldn't be a child?
Yeah, I couldn't be a child. See, even there, you skirted around the words. You used different words instead of saying I can't. What was the other thing in your life you couldn't do?
Couldn't say what I felt. Couldn't defend my boundaries.
Yeah, you couldn't get him to love you. You couldn't get yourself to love you.
Oh.
Yeah. No wonder you don't like I can't.
Gosh.
But and this is what most people who choose success, everyone has success wrong. They think it's career and I'm going to lose weight, all these outward esteem things. But they have no value. That's why people of so-called success, the wealthy and everything, struggle so much, is they're feeding that hole. But they're feeding it with the wrong thing. It's an external validation when what they want is that. They want to feel like, man, as a child, those things I couldn't do, which is an internal process.
Got it. So I control all of the exterior to feel like I have control of the interior.
And so you can say, I can do whatever I want. Look, I start a career, I build a house. See, I can do anything. And so you pursue external success, which is everyone. I mean, this isn't judgment of you. It's what we've all been taught. Look at our whole society and culture. You have to have the trophy husband, wife. You got to have the Scottsdale house. You got to have the Scottsdale career, the clothes, all the car, and it's all the fancy stuff. It's all just masking. The most wealthy are the most broken. It shows you how broken they are. They are feeling it.
Think about that next time I'm driving past a Land Rover.
It's true. It's true. Nobody wants to talk about that, but it's true. Because look at the defense mechanism. How could you say anything's wrong in my life? Look at how successful I am. What do we say with people? What do we say? And then when so-called successful people fall apart, what do we say? How could they do that? They had everything. No, they didn't.
There's this saying that I love, a messy home is a happy home.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, yes and no. Messy is also, it's also chaos. The bottom line is we're all perfectly imperfect and broken, just in different ways. And we feel that brokenness in different ways. None of us are good or bad. We're just doing the best we can with what we know.
Give me something that I can focus on, a mantra or something that I can practice moving.
Where do you feel the lack of forgiveness?
Right here.
Would
in
you
my
like
body.
to try something called tapping?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to move the chairs. Just stay right there for a second. We're just going to impromptu do this. Okay. I'll move you. If you can stand up real
Sure.
quick. Just going to.
Oops.
Yep, that's right. Just right there. I just need a little space. Okay. Now, we went through this in the greatness group, but I want to remind you again.
Oh.
We'll kind of go through the whole process, okay? The first thing I want you to do is I want you to think about a place where you feel total peace and comfort, whether it's real or imagined.
Okay, got it.
What is it?
Fiji, snorkeling.
Fiji. Okay, can I take your glasses off?
Oh, sure.
All right, tell me all about Fiji. What time of day is it?
It's late morning, maybe like 11 o'clock. I'm underwater with snorkel gear on, and it's coral reef, fish of every different color. The water is blue as far as you can see, almost like daylight. It's beautiful.
So the most peaceful for you is being in the water and snorkeling?
Yes.
At 11 a.m.
Yeah.
What's the water temperature?
85 degrees.
85 degrees. Do you smell anything?
No.
Do you taste anything?
Salty.
What do you hear?
Swishing and pops.
Okay. So you see, now when you see, tell me specifically in detail the colors that you see when you're snorkeling and you're seeing the reef and all of that. Tell me specifically, like what stands out to you?
Some of the coral is like purple, and some of it is white and spiny, and
is there an aspect of the coral that really resonates with you where you're like, man, that's just pure peace? That's the most purest form of beauty I've ever seen in my life.
Brain coral. It's like a purpley, wavy, but smooth when it's alive. It's really
Kind of
smooth.
like the blanket? Or a little bit different purple?
Sure. It's sort of, yeah.
Okay. When you think of that place, what do you feel?
Flow.
What does flow mean? Flow's not a feeling.
Moves easily.
That's not a feeling.
Feels balanced.
Balanced. What else?
Free.
Free. What else?
Light.
Light. Okay. What one word describes that? Because what we're going to do is we're going to tap. At the end, I'm going to grab you by the wrist. We're going to take a deep breath together. And I want you to give me, what is it? Peace? Is it love? Is it amen? What word would describe that place? Is it balance? What is it? Freedom?
For me, it's flow.
Flow. Okay. So when we, finish tapping, I grab your wrist, I'll say, take a deep breath. We'll take a deep breath together, and then we'll both say flow at the same time. And when we do that, I want you to go right to the coral reef. I want you to see all that purple brain coral, I think you called it. I want you to feel that peace and the flow and the freedom, all of that, okay? That's where I want you to go, all right? All right, now let's switch gears. I want to go back to the resentment and the unforgiveness. And you said you feel that in your chest.
Yes.
Okay. From a scale 0 to 10, what's the number right now?
Like a 7.
A 7. All right. Tell me the words that describe the feeling. And you said it's in your chest?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What feeling words would describe that?
Tight.
Tight. Keep going.
Emotions or just body feeling?
Emotions, but yeah, body feelings. Because tight is an emotion and a body feeling.
Tight. Clenching.
Keep going.
Fury.
Fury. Let's start right there. Can you put yourself in a place where you're tight, you're clenching, and you're furious? Like, close your eyes, go ahead and put your feet down. Close your eyes, and I want you to really focus on how tight you are, how clenching your chest is, how furious you are. Bring that up as high as possible. Try and get it to a 10, okay? All right, let me ask you another question. What happens to a tree when you cut its roots? What happens to the tree?
It dies.
That's right. I release the tension. I release the tightness, the fury, the anger, the clenching at this lack of forgiveness, the unwillingness to let it all go, to hold on to it. I've been holding on to it for too long. I release it. I let it all go. This was never mine. I was never meant to carry it. I set myself free. I release myself from the helplessness and the hopelessness and the anger and the unforgiveness of myself and everyone else. I release it. I let it all go. It's not mine. I set myself free. Big breath. Flow. Go ahead and say it.
Flow.
0 to 10, where are you?
5.
Did it move anywhere?
Down.
Tell me where it is. Where did it move to?
Right here.
It's in your stomach. Tell me what the feelings are.
Full. Feels full right here.
Okay, what else?
Just full. Like it's not supposed to be there.
It's not supposed to be there. What else?
Like it wants to come out.
It wants to come out. Okay. I give myself permission to let it all go, to give it all away, to let it pass through me, to let it wash away like the water rushing over me while I snorkel. I give myself permission to no longer hold on to this. I don't need to keep myself full of this rage and this clenching terror, of this fear and hopelessness and helplessness. I release it all. I let it all go. I set myself free. I am powerful. I am strong. I am beautiful. I am kind. I am loving. Deep breath. Flow. Go ahead and say it.
Flow.
0 to 10, where are you?
2.
Okay, did it move anywhere?
It's like here and here.
Still in there. Tell me what it feels like.
Trapped.
Trapped. Tell me more about trapped. When was the first time you felt trapped?
In a toy box.
Tell me about the toy box.
These little girls put me in the toy box and they sat on top and I couldn't get out. And I freaked out and busted my hands through the toy box.
Yeah. What happens to a tree when you cut its roots?
It dies.
That's right. I release the sense of being trapped. I'm no longer a child. I'm no longer frozen. I'm no longer incapable and helpless and hopeless and fearful and afraid. I no longer have to stay in this toy box. I no longer have to feel trapped in my life, in my pursuits, in my love of myself, or for others. I can choose to let it all go now. I can choose to let the light in that was covered over me. I can choose to let my greatness in. I can choose to let my power in. I give myself permission now. I push everyone off the toy box. I stand up and I claim myself. I release myself from that pain and that pressure. I accept that I'm responsible, that I am free, that I am no longer bound, that I'm no longer enraged. I claim my victory over all of it. Big breath.
Flow.
Flow. 0 to 10, where are you?
I think it's gone.
Yeah. What do you feel now?
I feel like my arms are branches.
Tell me about that. What's it feel like to have arms like branches?
I feel tall.
Tall. Keep going.
I feel buoyant.
Buoyant. Keep going.
I feel strong isn't a word, just happy and light and
how do you know when
free.
You're happy?
I feel like nothing's bothering me, nothing can get to me.
Yeah. I feel free. I accept this sense of freedom, of happiness, that nothing can get inside me anymore, that I'm no longer trapped, that I can be buoyant in my life, that I can rise above it all, that I can sit safely and maneuver through it. I now know what it feels like to claim myself, to feel truly happy and powerful. This is me. This is the me I was meant to live, the me I was meant to express. I accept this new feeling. And whenever any doubt or any fear or any of the old feelings come up, I replace it with this. This is my authenticity. This is my greatness. This is my opportunity to let everyone and everything from my past, let it all go. Because now I know who I am. Now I know what I'm meant for. I accept it all with power and grace. Big breath. Flow.
Flow.
Do you hear the change in your voice? How's it feel?
I feel above everything.
Yeah.
I feel like taller than everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like nothing can get to me.
Yeah. Can you imagine something getting to you and being okay with it?
Yes.
Tell me about that. Can you be excited about something getting to you? Because of what you can do now?
Because I don't have to take it personally.
Yeah, because it's not you. It never was you. Remember, judgment, and that's all theirs anyway. You've carried it for too long. You're free of it now. So can you see inviting in all of that stuff? Because as you said, you're buoyant. You're free of it. So why? See, that's why we'll pick relationships where no one's available. Because then we don't have to let them in. Because they'll destroy us. But now you don't have to fear destruction. So please, let me see imperfections. Please bring it to me. Because I can survive it now. I can now be safe and reliable for myself and follow through.
Wow. I am those things.
Yes, you are. Can you now feel them?
Yes.
This is the feeling I want you to go back to at any time. Like when you leave here today, write this moment down in as much vivid detail and color. Really connect to where you feel it in your body. All throughout, all the thoughts and feelings associated with it. If you can't write fast enough, puke it into your phone. Make a recording of it. Sit in this feeling as long as you can. You know how I talk about how to do vision boards and how to do affirmations and to bring up positive feelings. This is the core you. This is what you want to bring up whenever you say an affirmation or you do mirror work or anything. This is your authenticity. Now you know what it looks like. And so really get detailed so that you can really create that new neural pathway of, whoa, 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 this is me. That's what allows us to see denial, darkness, and go, that's who I was. That was the best I could do then. But I love seeing it because what it shows me is how far I've come and who I really am. Really cement it in. And so when you see your ex-husband, can you see yourself thanking him? Maybe not verbally, but inside. And being, it's okay.
I've been thinking I need to write him a letter. Maybe I don't give it to him, but write him a letter.
If it's something you want to write and send to me to make sure there isn't that it,
I'm being authentic.
Well, and there's not something we sneak in that we're just not aware of. I know how, look, if anyone knows how sneaky denial is, I'm gifted at being manipulative. So, it takes a lot of years of practice to see, I catch little subtleties all day, every day of how I'm being manipulative and everything. And it's a long journey. That's why journey's in the title. But if that's something you'd like, I'd be happy to do that.
That would be amazing.
The key is writing it from an ownership place without you.
Right.
And writing it from a place of, I'm so thankful.
I need to put this into a habitual pattern somehow. Something that I keep doing every day.
And that's why I want you to write all this down. And so remember in the month when we did tapping, part of my tap, did you notice how when we tapped, we worked through all the pain, we got that cleared out, and then it's you and you feel strong and buoyant and trees and tall. So then, if this were a different environment, I would go much longer tapping on that positive thing. You can do that on your own. As work through the tapping process every morning. I love me. I love who I am. I love my trees. I love how tall, right? I love how buoyant I am. See, even me doing that for you, I pick that up. And that's why I can smile, because I'm like, man, I can feel tall and trees and buoyant. See, look at the smile. Do you see just me mentioning it? It's like the little girl in you comes out. It's a smile I've never seen from you. There's a light to you. It's like, hi, I'm here. Yeah, see, do you hear how much more pure that is coming from you?
Yeah.
And so you can work on that on your own. I would do it I got religious about this stuff. Even in the car, stoplights, I didn't care. I love you, Kenny. I look in the rearview mirror. I love you, Kenny. I love how strong you are. I love how imperfect you are. I didn't give a hoot. I was done with being in pain. So who cares if somebody sees me? Whatever. The point is, you may not want to do it in the car. The point is, we have plenty of time in our day to love on ourselves and correct these things. We just have to choose it.
I choose me.
Amen. Now, let's finish up with that. Give me an idea of what you'd like to do over the next 24 to 72 hours to choose you.
I don't know what that means still. I'm feeling it, but I don't know what that means yet. I mean, that because I'm still, the old patterns are codependent, so.
Okay. This goes back to a client I worked with recently. I want you to get as specific as possible as to why you're choosing what you're choosing. Why do you like these shoes?
They're comfortable.
Okay, so comfort is something you like. Put that on, like I want you to break this down. I like comfort in shoes. That's something you like.
Okay.
Okay. Why'd you pick the rest of your outfit?
I like to wear black. I don't know, it's just classy, it's elegant, it's easy, and you don't have to think hard about it.
So I like to be elegant. I like to be classy. I don't like to think about it. Do you see how you just listed off several things that you know you like and want? Like, I want you to be that specific and pay attention to why you do it. There are a lot of things you're doing, but because as a child, you weren't allowed to be a child.
Right.
And so even if you had needs and wants, you suppressed them and wouldn't pay attention to them because your whole job was keeping the family afloat. You even suffered abuse from other people just so that everyone else was okay. You gave yourself away in the protection of others. Well, no one gave you permission to protect yourself. And so while you subconsciously kind of know why you pick these things, you've never allowed yourself to attach to why you pick them. And so what you eat, what you do for your hobbies, I want you to sit and really think, well, like what hobbies do you have?
I like to hike.
What is it you like about hiking?
It's calming, and I feel like I'm connecting with, God, and the repetitious pattern helps calm my mind down, and I get into deeper thoughts.
So what did you just hear that you like?
I like to calm down.
You like to be calm. What else do you like?
I like to connect.
Connect. What else do you like?
Exercise.
Exercise. There were two other things you said reasons you go hiking.
Repetitious pattern.
Repetition. Repetition is something
that I enjoy.
Enjoy. One other thing.
I don't know.
Spirituality.
Spirituality. Yes.
So do you see how, like, now you've just learned what a lot of wants you have.
Right.
And so when you're feeling a little bit down, you have this whole want list. Here's how I love myself and meet my self-care. That doesn't require somebody else. Did you hear? None of that required anybody. There's no codependency in that. That's pure self-love. And so when that need to be codependent comes up, I say, oh, wait a minute. Here's all my self-love. Wow. Now that I'm aware of it.
That's so powerful for me.
Yeah. You had to dissociate from what you like to become whatever they wanted. And so you've just never been given permission to go, oh, well, I like this, and here's why. And become an expert. Basically, live as a child. No one was an adult for you and said, what do you like? What would you like to explore today? And that's how I want you to approach yourself. Wake up every morning, hi, Michelle, what would you like to explore today? And it may be something you've said in the past, I hate that. I don't know, do I? Let's go try it. Now that I have this new perspective, maybe I like it. Maybe I didn't like it because someone else. I don't know.
Yeah.
The point is open yourself up and pay attention, and you will really start to get needs and wants. And what that'll allow you is to pick men that will be available. Because now you're available to you.
Right.
He's not the problem. You were never available to yourself. So how could anyone know how to take care of you when you didn't know either? Do you see the hamstring he was put in? You didn't even know how to take care of you.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
Well,
for him,
I don't know that I'd say awful. To me, it's sad, because awful to me is a judgment. I get what you're saying.
He didn't know how to please me because
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and isn't it wonderful that he married you anyway? What a sweetheart. Yeah. See, when you get into truth, you see how wonderful. I'm not condoning the drinking and all the other stuff, but there's a hell of a lot good there. Like, and that's why I say, aren't we lucky that they co-sign on our bullshit? Isn't it wonderful?
That is a reason to say thank you.
It is. It doesn't dismiss the poor behaviors, but what it does is bring into reality our part in the piece.
Right.
And when we do that, we get into truth about ourselves and them, and then the whole forgiveness thing just melts away.
Yeah.
That's how you get to forgiveness.
And then whatever responses he makes doesn't matter.
No, because now you're a tall tree that floats on water.
Tall tree that floats on water.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How you feeling?
Oh, I feel like a tall tree floating on water.
Wonderful.
Is that the weirdest analogy you've ever heard?
No. I don't think any of them are weird because I can picture them and I know the feeling. I mean, I attach to the feeling of it. That's so powerful and beautiful, the specter of that. Well, I'm just imagining the beautiful water you described in this glorious tree blossoming out of it. Like, God, wouldn't that be beautiful? Like, think of the majesty of that.
Yeah.
If some of those Japanese oaks or, those really just stunning trees just blossoming, cherry blossoms. That's what I picture. So why is that weird and ugly? Like, I want
trees
that.
trees too, and I never thought I would not have thought in an exercise like that I would have conjured up a tree that just came out. But I love trees, and this tree had really fat. I was at the tree. I had fat arms, really fat arms, but not heavy. They were floating like
strong
a balloon.
and reliable and safe. The tree is very powerful.
Right.
Yeah, you're great at this. You really know who you are. It's just spending time allowing yourself to see it and let it in.
Done a lot of work.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of work.
What'd you get from today?
Wow, just the powerful feeling, but not powerful in a tyrannistic way, but the powerful feeling of feeling light and free and tall and above it all. That is so amazing because I have experienced often most of my life feeling the weight of my world on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And obviously the symptoms of that in my body, that's huge for me. And not putting blaming on someone else is, in a weird way, freeing.
It's incredibly freeing.
It's so weird.
That's why forgiveness, it's never about forgiving them. It's us. And
I'm thinking that blaming him was going to make me get off the hook somehow, but that doesn't even work that way.
It destroys us.
It's the opposite.
Yeah. The answer is always in the opposite of everything, virtually everything we've been taught in life. The answer is in the opposite. They are never, ever the problem. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. I've yet to find a single situation where they are the problem. Because we chose it, and just as you found when you go through the process, you go, oh my God. I didn't know me. How could he know me? And yet he married me. What a gift. What a saint. Literally. And that's the truth. What a saint. Now, I'll no longer choose that because I don't like alcohol in my life. I now know my need and want isn't that, right? But there's a hell of a lot good there. And I got safety. I got tons of freedom. I was alone. I never had to be vulnerable. Man, this guy was great. I could just stay hidden in all these different recesses, never having to deal with this, never having to accept how wonderful I am, what a buoyant tree I am. He allowed me to stay huddled in my cocoon in that toy chest. I could stay in that toy chest, and he'd never challenge it. He'd sit on top of it for me.
Oh my gosh.
He was my protector, allowing me to stay in that toy chest.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Again, where is the problem? What a great man.
Oh my gosh. He did exactly what I set him up to do.
Yes. And vice versa. And vice versa. We're all just loving each other based on where we are at the time. And if we choose to do the work, if we choose to uncover this, we will choose to love differently. But right now, We love based on where we are at the time. We do the best we know, the best we can with what we know at the time. And that's okay. As we know better, we can do better. I don't even know if it's doing better, because I don't know that there's a problem in anything you guys did.
It was what needed to happen at that time.
Exactly, because look where it brought you. You had to go through that's the whole 3D movie. We're teaching ourselves how to recover that trauma we went through. It was perfect, absolutely perfect. So now you can hug him. Go, I love you, in a much different way.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's
he won't understand it.
No, and that's okay. Like, that's how I feel with my wife who was abusive, my wife who would hit me and all that. Like, I adore her. I think she's amazing.
Could you imagine us walking around hugging people?
I've hugged her, and she's like, even my kids are like, what, and I'm like, it's okay. I no longer need to manipulate the codependent dynamic anymore. I don't need it. It's okay that she doesn't get it. I don't need her to get it. It's just wonderful that she still loves me.
Oh.
And so I tell those stories so you can see the mirror and go, man, that's so true. Okay?
What a gift.
Yeah. Let's end there. Proud of you.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.